Roger Stone of Stone Cold Truth, former head of the Trump campaign, worked in 4 administrations internally, been involved in 9 campaigns. I have not talked to you since 6 o'clock, 2 hours before the debate. You heard my analysis. You always tell me what you really think. Am I wrong, or was this a huge Trump victory?
Alex, I'm very pleased. This is the Donald Trump that I know, Trump being himself. Combative, wily, getting back to his central themes, not letting her lie, not letting her set the agenda, not letting her dominate the subject matter. And you could see the flop sweat breaking out on her forehead. You could see her jaw clenching because she's never been confronted, certainly not by a federal prosecutor. He scored by saying, I will appoint a special prosecutor. This is his way of telling the Clintons and their daughter they're going to prison and over their massive corruption. He strips away the fraud of her foreign policy, talking about Libya, talking about Syria. He debunks the idea that he has any connection to the Russians. And he hammers her on the integrity issues. I just saw a focus group poll by Frank Luntz at Fox, a man who looks like he has a Danish stapled on his head. But he shows overwhelming, almost 2 to 1, his focus group of voters believe Donald Trump won this debate. So, Alex, this is a race again. Donald Trump did what he had to do.
In fact, I would say he's back in the pole position, but narrowly.
Well, I will know that in a couple days, but he had certain minimum requirements, and I think he greatly exceeded them.
No, but I agree. Saying you're going to prison, you've sold us out, you're with Al Qaeda. Let me say, it was so much better than the last thing. I lowered expectations, but this was epic.
Well, in a certain sense, he lowered expectations with his previous performance, but he also showed an excellent grasp of the details of Obamacare.
Very presidential on war, very presidential on taxes.
I mean, what reality does she live in? The insurance companies are pulling out. Obamacare is in collapse.
My parents had never used their insurance in 20 years. My dad's a physician, just retired last year. It doubled and tripled in 3 years. Everyone I know is getting $5,000 fines, and they're up there still saying it's the best thing since sliced bread. They're totally disconnected.
Well, and again, she says, my friend Michelle Obama. Let's be very clear. She hates Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama hates her.
And Trump made that point. Why is there this hatred between Obama and the Clintons? Because I know Obama's bad, but I got to say, in my gut, I think Hillary's worse than Obama.
Well, the Obamas hate Hillary because Sidney Blumenthal, whose name came up several times, spread the rumors that Obama was gay, spread the rumors that Frank Marshall Davis was Obama's
and that he was from Kenya, everything.
Spread the rumor that he was from Kenya, and of course the entire birther thing, which Trump nailed her on. Birtherism comes from Hillary.
Can I just say your Patek watch looks incredible?
Yes, why, thank you.
Is that a Patek?
It is a gift from my first wife.
I saw you in a photo with Nixon with that. Can I please see it? Ladies and gentlemen, that is a legend. I'm not in a watch cap. That is a legendary Patek.
This is the rose gold. They have reproduced it now. You can buy it again, but the cost now is much greater than the time that I was able to.
I didn't mean to get off into a side issue. Your style's amazing. Now, Roger, you know I'm honest. I said last time I didn't like it. I'm in really good mood right now. But we've got to get ready for the horrible news tomorrow that you predicted a year ago. We've got to find the clip because Drudge linked last time to something you said 9 months ago. You laid out like a year ago how Epstein, the rape plane, before it was even the news, the settlements, how they would do fake lawsuits, which they've done with fake names to go after Trump because they know you've talked to Trump, others have. The secret weapon is Epstein and the pedophile plane and Hillary and all the rest of it. And, of course, he had the lady there tonight that was raped and Hillary covered up. We have Hillary bragging she covered it up. We have them. So they're deconstructing now. How does the empire strike back? I mean, you literally, like no one I've ever known, have predicted everything. So what comes next?
Well, first of all, on the one hand, I'm glad that the Trump campaign has finally been able to sort out the difference between infidelity and indiscretions and violent, brutal rape and sexual assault.
Yeah, no one cares about infidelity in a libertine world. It's not good, but that's people have their raping little kids is bad. Raping girls on the side of the road when they're 12 in a coma for 5 days, that's wrong.
Well, and in all honesty, from a strategic and tactical point of view, if it were up to me, I would have utilized the victims of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton differently. I think by putting them in a press conference format and having them endorse Donald Trump, it makes their comments look political.
Instead of them just coming out. No, I get it. But
and there's no focus on...
That's what makes Trump so good. He's like smart in ways and dumb in others.
Well, you know? I don't think this is his fault, but the idea that putting these women, all of whom have suffered greatly at the hands of the Clintons, in a press event will rattle the Clintons. That won't rattle.
By the way, let me bring this up. I have a bunch of people coming on. I had a witness on earlier who was a Democratic master delegate, national delegate, super delegate in '96. He said Clinton was rampaging, grabbing women everywhere. Hillary was flipping out, cussing everyone out. Jesse Jackson had to basically protect women from Bill. This guy's powerful. He's the one in Nevada that exposed him. He sent us his credentials. He was high-level Democrat. He believed it all. He's a liberal. He got there and saw their psycho behavior, which I've interviewed 2 Secret Service agents, an FBI agent, and off record, I haven't announced this yet, a Blackwater and a Special Forces Green Beret, separately told me Hillary flips out at bases and starts just cussing everyone out and like flying and throwing stuff. She is psychotic, like General Flynn said. She's totally unstable. She's beyond bipolar. She is psychotic.
Yeah, I think she's mentally imbalanced. The Hillary Clinton you saw on TV with that kind of frozen, phony smile, that's not Hillary. Hillary is a vicious, abusive, short-tempered, foul-mouthed, entitled kleptocrat. Her power lust knows no bounds. If you've seen House of Cards, she is Claire Underwood, only worse.
In fact, they say it's based on that. Leanne McAdoo was telling me she read articles where they admit Claire Underwood is her. Is that accurate?
It certainly appears that way, although they do have one scene in which she sits, Claire Underwood sits on a toilet while holding a meeting. And that's kind of provocative of Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, it's LBJ. I had a family that talked to LBJ while he took a crap. It was like some dominance thing he did, but that was a wet worker, though. But, okay, so if we're looking at all this, then what else do we take from this? I would say Trump came back to even or ahead here. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do we expect as the counteroffensive? What do we do? What do we see before the next debate? Obviously, all hell's about to break loose. You told me a year ago they were going to bring out this pedophile crap. It's now happened. I was talking to our sources 2 days ago. I called you, and you said, yeah, I know about that. It's coming out. It's in the news today. The judge in the weekend, who's Democrat appointed by Obama in the same district as Hillary in the Senate district in New York, is going ahead with Jane Doe's, no witnesses, just imaginary Kafkaesque events that Donald Trump is raping children.
I actually got a call from an MSNBC reporter tonight who wanted to talk about this. And her argument was, well, now Trump has been exposed as a rapist. Don't you think this neutrals out the attacks on Bill? The point, of course, is that Trump is accused of rape by someone who, in this case, is anonymous.
By phantoms, Bill Clinton is settled.
Well, Bill Clinton settled an $850,000 settlement for exposing himself and demanding oral sex from Paula Jones. The women who have filed this lawsuit against Trump do not exist. This is a fraud. This whole lawsuit.
Yeah, how do you file stuff with the victims is a Joe, the witness is a Doe, and that witness has someone that never saw it, but they told about it as a Doe 22 years ago. Isn't there a statute of limitations?
Look, I'm not an attorney, but I have interviewed all of the attorneys for the victims of Epstein who have not settled and are seeking to overturn his slap on the wrist sentence because they were never informed that he was given a sweetheart deal as required by the federal law. They know Bill's relationship with Epstein is problematic. They know that there's a testimony in civil trial that Epstein was videotaping his VIP guests when they were partying with underage girls. So one has to wonder whether Epstein, who's gotten a total pass on the violent rape of 33 children, has something on higher ups in the
Obviously, he's framing him on the plane, Clinton 24 times. By the way, we checked New York. I mean, I thought it was 10 years. In some states, Texas is 10. Last time I checked. Rape of a minor or rape period is 5 years in New York. So how in the hell, if it's 22 years, are they filing civil suits when criminal doesn't even cover it in New York for 5 years when it's 22? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, it's because it's not a real lawsuit. It only has to survive for 3 more weeks.
Exactly. That's why they launched it so early, so close to it, because someone can prove it either way.
Well, it's meant to divert.
So do I follow suit that Bill Clinton raped me? Should I just say he raped me in a parking lot, pick some day, was in Austin, file an affidavit? I mean, I'm not going to do that, but I'll just say Bill Clinton and Hillary both raped me at a Quality Inn or a Best Western, you know, with like frickin' Easter bunnies. I mean, you know, what do I do?
Well, what's difference between the lawsuit that was filed in Texas and was immediately thrown out by a right-thinking judge?
With a fake name. I mean, it had a fake name on it.
Yeah, they all do. These people don't exist. And if they do exist, come forward and make your charge in public. None of this innuendo.
Oh, if there's some woman's got proof, come on my show. I'll turn against Trump right now.
Well, and you also have some woman, Jill Harth, who is evidently married to some Trump friend or executive. She's come forward and claimed that Trump assaulted her, but she's told 4 different stories. This appears also to be politically motivated. No, there's only one rapist on the scene in this presidential campaign, and it's Bill Clinton.
That's right. So clearly they knew that was a strong suit. You advised Trump to do it. He took the high road. They didn't. And then the time being, they turned it around against him. I mean, my God.
And look, they have planned it for some time. I think that's pretty clear.
You said, we got to find the clip. It'll go viral. It was like a year ago. It was like your 5th or 6th interview. You went into all this, Epstein, the plane, the fake Texas thing. You know, right when it happened, it's going to come up. They're going to bring it up right before the election. I mean, Roger, again, you said it all, and it happened. I mean, you predicted it.
Well, again, an MSNBC reporter tonight tells me when I raised the question of Bill Clinton riding on the pedophile's plane 27 times, according to FAA records, she says, well, Trump was on Epstein's plane. Now, I researched the Epstein issue extensively for my book, The Clinton's War on Women, which you can get at the Infowars.com store. Donald Trump was never on Epstein's plane. No manifest, which is required by federal law, shows Trump ever traveling anywhere with Epstein on Epstein's plane.
You talked a year ago about Trump next to his golf course, was invited to a party. He goes. There's young girls at a pool. He gets the hell out of there.
Well, actually, the first thing he does, he says to his bodyguard, how nice Jeffrey lets the neighborhood children use his pool. Then once he gets into the party, he looks around. He becomes increasingly uncomfortable because all the women there are not really women. They're girls. There's a handful of men. So he pays his respects and he leaves. This is a smear. It's meant to.
By the way, I don't want to get into our lifestyles or what the point is, you know Trump, he likes bombshell super women. You know, he wants Marilyn Monroe. He's not looking for like Clinton, some 14-year-old girl. There's never been a history of that. Clinton has that.
Well, another interesting thing is that many in the mainstream media have been trying to push a rumor that the Trumps, Donald and his wife Melania, are separated, that Melania is no longer supportive. Did you see her at the debate tonight? She was glowing.
Oh, she looked great. She's totally behind him. So let me ask you this. This is a referendum on mainstream media and their hoaxes. They've been caught over and over again. They try to create a stampede, a hysteria that he was dropping out. They've done this 3 other times. It isn't working. We've got 28 days. I mean, it's 29 right now, but in 2 hours Central, we're talking 28 days. In a few minutes, what do you expect the next? Because you've been totally like an oracle on what's happening. What happens next?
Well, first of all, I'd like to make 2 points. One, Anderson Cooper interprets the locker room chat with Billy Bush as sexual assault. Does he ask Hillary about her husband's sexual assault?
He said these girls like me so much I could grab them. He doesn't say that.
And then Martha Raddatz. Martha, look, simple. Stop pretending to be a journalist. Just become a paid spokesman for the Clintons or for the Democratic National Committee. But She interrupts Trump constantly, but she never interrupts Hillary. Pathetic, really.
And did you love Trump finally pointing out they were interrupting him and not her?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, look, they exposed themselves by their behavior. I can't tell you where this goes because I got to go work the phones tonight. But I can tell you Trump really scored tonight, in my view. He's
so would
back.
you give him a B+, A minus, A plus?
I give him an A. I think he was on his game. Look, he's Trumpian, and he talks in Trump speech patterns.
I'd say A+. I'm really impressed.
I recognize he's not a polished career politician, and unlike Hillary, he hasn't memorized words that were designed and tested in polls and focus
Exactly.
groups.
He's not a politician. Shouldn't he go on then pure attack next, though? People want to see the killer blow. I think he should savage her next.
Well, I think he just did savage her.
No, he savaged her, but I'm saying next level savage. I want a 100% political decapitation.
Well, I think he's certainly now in position to do so. I mean, I think it is interesting that he both showed that he could handle the nuance of complicated issues. On the tax code question, I guess this is my greatest objection. Anderson Cooper, not tax avoidance. Everything Trump did was
Lawful.
100% legal. I don't want.
And I read his tweets. He goes, "This is a scam. We need to change it, but I have to compete. I'm doing it while it's this way."
Well, I don't want a president who pays more than he owes in federal taxes under the current code. That person would be too stupid to be president.
No, exactly. All right. Roger, obviously tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., the big daytime show. We got to have you back. This is epic. But I am very pleased. Were you not panicking the first 5-10 minutes, though, when he was taking the attacks? Or did you get that he was just letting her pile on so he wouldn't look like he was aggressor? I mean, he did it very judo, very nuanced.
Well, in all honesty, in the first few minutes, I was so busy fielding congratulatory calls when there was no handshake, precisely as I predicted. She refused to shake his hand up front.
By the way, let's talk about that. You were told by a source it wouldn't happen. They always shake hands before a debate. You've been proven correct. We should have hit that first. They kind of went like this, and you notice he didn't do it. She figured out it wasn't going to happen. I guess we did it too early, an hour and a half before. She got the word, didn't she? Talk about that.
Well, I don't think they changed their plan, but he was tipped off. And Anderson Cooper then going to her and say, "Why didn't you shake his hand?" would have been too obvious after we exposed him.
Sure, so they have the next lady come in about children so he could do what you did with children. That was so scripted.
Yeah, look, this is the one I love the most. She's an advocate for children. How about the 18 children under the age of 8 who died at Waco when she, the co-president...
Or the children whose fathers are killed because they won't be suicide bombers by the tens of thousands. So, but I mean, let's talk about that, though. They always shake hands. It always happens. You said epically that he was going to he would try to shake and she would say no. He held back. We ought to cue that back up if you can at the top of the debate. Guys, we have it on DVR in there. You were proven right. So I know you warned him. Others warned him. You had it from a source. They kind of sit there and come close and don't do it. I guess he didn't reach out, so she didn't do the refusal. This was epic. You were proven right.
Well, and right now the folks in the Clinton campaign are desperately trying to figure out who the spy is. I think it was Napoleon who said spies are everything. There's somebody in their campaign who isn't really for Hillary, and they're a source of, in this case, solid intelligence. And I suspect they'll be a source of more.
Yeah, Fortune saying they didn't shake hands. It's unprecedented. Well, I have another source. You have a source. I have a Secret Service source. I have other sources. And I asked, when I met with this person in private to get the dossier we covered today that you could confirm parts of, so I double-checked it with you, yesterday and this morning, that, listen, I get it. She's not a liberal. She wants war with Russia. She's dangerous. We're scared of her. The Secret Service is too. The screaming, the yelling, the fit-throwing. Much of her inner circle is scared of her. And why don't they just expose her and this could stop? I mean, someone that is this crazy, like General Flynn said, should not be in command.
Well, the problem is, of course, they can't expose her. This former agent Gary Byrne wrote a terrific book.
Had him on twice.
Have you seen him on CBS, NBC, CNN? In fact, when he even gets an inquiry about an interview, the Clintons shut it down immediately. See, censorship and bully boy tactics, this is the hallmark of the Clinton thugs. They're bullies. They want to censor people. They want to threaten people. They have hundreds of these bots attacking you and I and anyone who stands up for Trump. It's laughable because it's so transparent. You can see the flop sweat tonight. It's catching up with Hillary. Her record, Alex, she has no record. Everything she has touched in her political and public career has turned crap.
No, total crap. Listen, Roger, everybody knows I told it like it was. Not very good 2 weeks ago. This was epic. My son, Rex Jones, is watching right now at 14 with my daughters. And I just want to say, son, I'm going to go back to Roger Stone here in closing. But son, I'm going to turn it over to Leah McAdoo and the rest of the crew for 2 hours. They're here tonight to take your phone calls, cover the news, you name it. I'm gonna get out of here or I'll take over. I don't want to do this fight, but I have to. I can't give in to evil. I can't roll over to tyranny. I do this for you. I love you. Whatever happens is for you. And I'm so proud you want to carry on my footsteps. To you, Rex Jones, and to you, my darlings, my little girls watching. I'd say your names, but there's enemies watching. I love you so much. And your daddy does this. Could have been sold out to these people years ago. I was offered $3 million, then $10 million a year without even having a crew. There's more money I make now to sell it. I didn't do it because I love you and I want to make America great. I want to make America free. I want to be with other people like Roger Stone and others that care about freedom. So I love you tonight, Washington home. I'm going to end this in a few minutes and let the crew come in and take over. I'm going to drive home to you. I'm going to put you in bed. It's Columbus Day tomorrow, so you're off tomorrow. We're going to get off on the radio. We're going to go to the Green Belt. We're going to go have fun tomorrow. We're going to go ride horses. But I love you so much. And I do all this, and all those people attack you at school because I'm your daddy. A lot of people love you, but a lot of them attack me because I'm your daddy, because I'm willing to stand up for you. And I'm so proud of you and what you do and the fact you see through it all, and I love you. Roger Stone, you lost your mom a few months ago. You've been through a lot of hell, but you've talked about the 4 campaigns you've been internally in the White House, 9 campaigns total. Is this not the most historical thing we've ever seen? 2 minutes, closing comment.
Yes, Alex, because this isn't a political campaign. It's an insurgency. It's an uprising. It's a revolt of the people against the two-party duopoly and the people who want to steal our freedom, who have nothing but a record of failure. It's a revolt against endless war and the erosion of our civil liberties, the massive debt and spending and borrowing, the bailouts for the crooks on Wall Street, while the globalists are importing our jobs abroad, and our foreign policy seems to have...
Well, that's my next question. You've been inside the system. Nixon wasn't perfect. Reagan wasn't perfect. They weren't out to get the country. Why are the globalists out to get us? Why do they do deals that always hurt us? Why do they call us bitter cleaners? Why do they call Bernie Sanders people, basement dwellers when they did this to us? Why are they out to get us?
Because they are elitists. And in the past, they didn't have to worry because the people were not yet onto them. That's why you were able to have Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. But now the great American people are awakened and they see that their policies have failed and that we're moving towards world government. And they see the people pulling the strings and they're turning to a man who has the stature and the independence and the courage to take them on. And they're crapping their pants.
That's right. StoneColdTruth.com. In closing, then, I'm going to bring the rest of the crew and I'm ending this. We're going to take calls for at least an hour and a half and talk to the viewers out there and cover highlights. Epic Night, Infowars.com. Trump, I know, isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. My God, if you're a real man, you're not. You're an animal. The difference is he doesn't have a bad heart towards people. He isn't out to get us. He is pissed about us having one-sided deals. He's not out to get America. That's why the elites and all their emails, internal stuff are panicking. They've sold out our greatness and lied to themselves that their greatness was us. Trump realizes the greatness is the republic. It's been the apple of the eye. Talk for 2 minutes, then we'll close this out. I know you don't brag about it, but you know Trump for decades, 40 years, really hung out with him a lot, been a wingman for him when he's divorced and stuff. What makes Trump tick, and why is he taking this epic challenge on, and why are the elite so afraid of him?
I go back, Alex, to an interview he gave many years ago with Oprah Winfrey, and she said to him, Donald, do you think you'd ever run for public office? Do you think you'd ever run for president? And he said, no, I don't think so, unless things get so bad that I have no choice. That's where we are today. Donald Trump has the greatest life in the world. He has a beautiful family that he loves. He has a palatial home in Florida and in New York. He loves to play golf. There's no more mountains to climb at his real estate company. He has achieved great wealth and landmark properties. He's widely respected in his chosen business. He's been on a golf course in months because he's dedicating himself to a fight to save his country. He doesn't need to be president to be somebody. He doesn't need to be president so he can steal, which is why the Clintons have pursued public office. He's doing this because he loves his country, and he's doing it.
They were never anything till they got into politics. He's the opposite, is what they hate, and he doesn't mind wealth in the average person. He wants to make us wealthy. They're pissing on the Renaissance. Donald Trump is the Renaissance. They are the Dark Age. They are the past. He is the future. I mean, why do they fear him so much?
They fear him because he can't be bought. You see, even in the case of the great Ronald Reagan, who I think may have been the greatest president in my lifetime, and it was my great privilege to work for him in 3 presidential campaigns, giving me the opportunity to spend a substantial amount of time with him. But even his presidency, to a certain extent, was co-opted, because what happens is once you get elected, the professional politicians and the people who believe that they were born to govern show up and say, this is all too complicated for you. We know how Washington works. Let us help you, meaning let us undo your policies. Trump is too smart for that. He's going to build the wall. He's going to secure our borders. He's going to revitalize our economy. He is going to bring hope back to the inner cities. He is the globalist.
He wants to be the hero, which is normal in a real man, and they're totally panicking because the arrogance of these elites that they know everything and they can't ever build anything. They just sit in little groups and tell you you've got to submit to them. I've had them come to me and say, we're going to give you $10 million a year, join us. And they're like, you can't believe we're not taking it. I'm like, I'm going to build my own thing. Well, Roger Stone's an epic time to be alive, stonecoldtruth.com. We've got, did you see the thousands of posters they hung up? Bill Clinton's a rapist outside of the deal. It's now been 16 confrontations. I'm told there were 3 more tonight on national TV. We'll have those tomorrow. Infowars.com, drudgereport.com is linking to that. I mean, I had no idea when we had this idea a week and a half ago to say, you know, Bill Clinton raped, go take over. We're just tired of them blocking that. I'm telling you, they're seeing the power of humanity. 60 seconds closing comment.
Look, as I said earlier, I'm very proud that the guerrilla tactic of making the Clinton rape T-shirt is working. Coming up next is the official Bill Clinton rape whistle. It's another way to go around the mainstream media in the giant public appearances by Bill.
And take over the microphones.
The whistle. Coming soon.
So take over the microphones. StoneColdTruth.com, InfoWarsStore.com. We'll have the rape whistles at cost to get out. So we have the Hillary for President shirt. It shows how weak they are, though, Roger, that you and I and a few others and our listeners can continually dominate the narrative. They're not that powerful. They realize they're a facade. Did you notice in closing that she literally sat down 90% of the time and couldn't even stand up?
Well, she doesn't have the stamina or the fitness, physical fitness in this case, or the mental balance or clarity to be president. Why is she asking for Parkinson's disease medicine in her emails? I suspect it's because she has Parkinson's disease. All
right, this is the final closing, and I'm going to go to a 3-minute clip and bring the rest of the crew in. I'm getting out of here. I want them to do 2 hours. Huge. We have via the InfoWars stream, YouTube, and others, 2.5 million people watching right now. Not just counting dozens and dozens of AM stations, cable stations, TV stations. I mean, I don't know the numbers. Those will come in later. We have 2 million people plus conservatively watching outside the system right now. I'm going to bring in the crew for at least an hour and a half to cover all this. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. But what do they do next? I mean, the empire is going to strike back, Roger Stone. They're not going to just roll over to this. We're having great victories, but, you know, like the wolf says in Pulp Fiction, let's not start, you know, what each other's, you know, yet. So in your gut, in that great, you know, / Western European Sicilian brain, what does the Spidey sense pick up?
I go back once again to the fact is that their fallback plan is to steal this election if they must. And therefore, if Trump has the kind of late surge that I have believed for a while he could have, was very privileged to speak to a breakfast this morning, really a brunch for the Mount Morris County, New Jersey Republicans. Big crowd, great turnout, great enthusiasm for Donald Trump. But a lot of dejected Trump supporters, a lot of people who are ready to throw in the towel. Folks, this is not over. It's not even close.
Stop buying the mind control. Exactly.
And in politics, 30 days is a lifetime. And there are going to be more bombshell revelations about the Clintons. And I'm not speaking solely about WikiLeaks.
No, this week's going to be big. Are we going to see you here in Austin?
I think relatively soon, because I need some barbecue. So I'm going to come on down.
All right, Roger Stone, StoneColdTruth.com. Get your Bill Clinton rape shirt right there. Thank you, Roger, for spending so much time with us today. I appreciate you.
Great to be here.